Over the years, the horror genre has given us some truly formidable and frightening villains. From murderous mama's boy Norman Bates to the butcher of teen babysitters Michael Myers, we've seen some bad guys scary enough to haunt our dreams for life, without even mentioning Freddy, and that's his job. Some horror villains fall way short of the mark, however, which is quite a quandary considering a convincingly creepy villain is a vital ingredient in crafting a halfway decent horror movie. From homicidal household items to bloodthirsty baked goods, there's no limit on what ridiculous ideas the horror genre will spit out in the name of campy creeps. With that in mind, I'm Ash from What Culture, and these are the 10 most unlikely horror movie villains. 10. A half man, half turkey. Blood Freak. Part horror movie and part anti-drug public service announcement, Blood Freak follows Vietnam veteran Herschel after he's seduced into sampling a particularly potent strain of marijuana by a wanton lady hippie, and soon finds himself addicted to the devil's lettuce. Jonesing for his next jazzy cigarette fix, Herschel agrees to consume some experimental bioengineered turkey meat in exchange for drugs, which of course turns him into a half-man, half-turkey hybrid freak whose addiction can only be quenched by drinking the blood of fellow junkies. Essentially though, Herschel is just a stoner sporting a bad papier-mâché mask with a shit-ton of feathers glued to it. He doesn't even use his newfound beak to kill people, but a run-of-the-mill switchblade to off his victims, disappointingly. They must be saving Blood Beak for a sequel. 9. A condom. Killer condom. The title of this uber low-budget German comedy horror is a bit of a giveaway. But in case you need it spelling out, killer condoms are the villain here. Running as one extended dick joke complete with stereotypical Italian detective Luigi Macaroni, I'm not really sure what else you could want from a film so intent on being bad. Macaroni's life gets perplexing when he's tasked with solving a series of grisly penis-severing incidents at the aptly named Hotel Quickie. And things get personal when Macaroni loses one of his own testicles to a carnivorous condom while indulging in a tryst with a gigolo he's just met. But because the idea of a killer condom equipped with fangs sharp enough to chomp off chodes is so absolutely absurd, no one believes the now one bald detective. This guy just can't catch a break. 8. Cute bunnies. Night of the Lepus. Some might say it's a harebrained endeavour to try and make rabbits scary. Some might also have never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and to that I say your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries. But I digress. The only thing that separates these crazed killers from run-of-the-mill rabbits is some vaguely believable backstory involving an experiment to curb rabbit reproduction gone wrong, which results in the normally salad-loving hoppers developing a taste for human flesh. What this actually translates to in a B-movie like Night of the Lepus is a load of regular-sized bunny rabbits running amok on miniature-sized sets with ketchup blood smeared on their chops in a bid to make them look threatening. Someone get the holy hand grenade of the Antioch. 7. A Gingerbread Man. The Ginger Dead Man. After the ashes of an executed serial killer are merged with gingerbread spice mix and baked, the murderer is reborn as a sentient, supersized, bloodthirsty gingerbread man hell-bent on killing the family that put him behind bars. Don't ask me about the logistics of such a biscuit-based reincarnation, because I do not know. Implausible origins aside, there's a pretty easy way to get the upper hand over a villain like the Ginger Dead Man. Like, eating him. Sure, he's evil, so he might taste a little funky, but essentially he's rather a large mass of biscuit ingredients, which is delicious. What's even more incredulous than an edible villain is the fact that the movie spawned not one, but 2 sequels. Ginger Dead Man 2, The Passion of the Crust, and Ginger Dead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver, and a crossover movie with the sentient bong from the Evil Bong franchise. 6. A Bed. Deathbed. Bed that eats. Deathbed is about an evil, demonically possessed 4-poster bed that, you guessed it, eats people. Although technically it doesn't eat people but rather dissolves and digests them, and its diet isn't really limited to just human flesh either. Pretty much anything is game, including red wine, apples, fried chicken, and Pepto-Bismol, which you'd probably need after such a rich meal. Made way back in 1977, Deathbed struggled to find a distributor unsurprisingly, and wasn't officially released until it came out on DVD in 2003, over 25 years later. I can't possibly imagine why it languished in obscurity for so long. 5. A ton of inanimate objects. Maximum Overdrive. Adapted from one of King's own short stories and his only directorial effort to date, Maximum Overdrive takes the inanimate object gone wild idea to the extreme, with any and all manner of usually innocuous gadgets and machines going haywire and butchering people left, right and centre. Any and all isn't an exaggeration either. We see a little leaguer mowed down and flattened by an errant steamroller, a man killed by his own Walkman, and a woman slain by a hairdryer alongside killer vending machines, remote-controlled cars, arcade games, and a semi-sentient squad of trucks trying to kill Maximum Overdrive star Emilio Estevez. To his credit, King later admitted that he was off his tits on cocaine throughout most of the production and had no idea what he was doing. Explains a lot, really. 4. An inflatable sex doll. Blown. Soon-to-be married bachelor Bobby is celebrating his last day of freedom in typically raucous style, with lots of drinking, strippers, and an inflatable sex doll, much to the chagrin of his voodoo priestess neighbour, who decides to put a stop to his rowdy festivities by possessing said sex doll and killing off the bachelor partygoers. Seriously, any of her victims could have easily defeated her by puncturing her with a sharp object. A knife, for example, but even a sewing needle or a sharp fingernail would have done the trick. 3. A possessed gym. Death Spa is about an 80s a film as you're ever likely to see should the fortune befall you. Replete with leg warmers, big hair and impossibly skimpy leotards, it's practically the cinematic equivalent of shoulder pads. It follows hapless widower and gym owner Michael as he comes under suspicion after the yuppies that frequent his trendy, state-of-the-art Los Angeles health club fall victim to a series of grisly but hilarious accidents involving the spa's equipment, like saunas and sunbeds that try to burn patrons alive, a butterfly press that butchers a guy by ripping his torso apart, and a smoothie blender powerful enough to dismember a woman. At one point, director Michael Fisher even resorts to using a frozen dead fish to off one of his characters, presumably because he soon realised there are a limited number of ways gym equipment can conceivably kill people. But for a film that profoundly features a tagline, "You'll sweat blood," ew, what did we expect really? 2. A snowman. Jack Frost. Not to be confused with the 1998 film of the same name, this Jack Frost is a festive little horror featuring not a snowman possessed by the spirit of a loving father, but a snowman possessed by a serial killer, who is killed after crashing into a truck carrying ambiguous genetic material on the way to his own execution. Oh, the irony. Despite essentially being 2 balls of compacted snow with coal for eyes and a carrot for a nose, Frost manages to rack up a considerable kill count, including beheading a teen with a sledge and offing a woman by strangling her with Christmas lights and then stabbing her in the noggin with a star-shaped tree topper. Until, that is, the idiotic characters in this film finally defeat him with antifreeze. Yes, antifreeze, which is really something you'd think would occur earlier to the characters who live in a place nicknamed the snowman capital of the world. 1. A fridge. The refrigerator. Of all the household objects in all the world you could possibly conceive of making a convincing horror movie villain, a refrigerator probably isn't the first thing that springs to mind. Even amongst demonically possessed lamps, hairdryers gone haywire, and bloodthirsty beds, a homicidal fridge seems a little bit silly. Nevertheless, it's the humble, unassuming fridge that takes the role of ice-cold killer in the aptly titled 1991 film The Refrigerator, about a yuppie couple who move into a suspiciously affordable New York City apartment that comes with its own fridge that just so happens to house a portal to hell. That'll explain the cheap rent then. So that's our list. What's the most ridiculous horror villain you've come across? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I've been Ash and this has been What Culture. Make sure to subscribe to the What Culture YouTube channel for more lists like this, and don't forget to visit whatculture.com for daily news and articles. Thanks for watching.